October 17th, J.D. Gibbs. Welcome to 365 Christian Men, where every day we aim to inspire and encourage with real-life stories about men. J.D. Gibbs was the oldest son of a famous man, Joe Gibbs, longtime coach of the NFL's Washington Redskins. J.D. laughed about the fact that as he was growing up, he rarely saw his dad unless it was on a football field or a racetrack. But as soon as the first grandchild came along, like magic, Dad was finding reasons to visit every day. And when Joe left football, he and J.D. founded the Joe Gibbs NASCAR racing team, and J.D. became the president. They started with 17 employees and one race car. As of 2019, there were 500 employees. Employees still talk about J.D.'s consistent positive attitude.
Honor others above yourself and watch the adventure unfold. At the College of William and Mary, J.D. Gibbs, a popular and successful man, believed that God was real, the Bible was true, and Jesus' life and resurrection made J.D.'s life worth living. In the dorm, there certainly wasn't a shortage of tempers and testosterone. That environment can get annoying pretty quick. But most of the guys got along, laughed, and hung out often. Although one guy on his floor could get loud and obnoxious. He didn't mean to, but his mere presence just got on everyone's nerves. Some of the guys on the floor ignored this one particular loud guy who stood out. The guy was just annoying. But he had one thing in common with JD. He loved the Washington Redskins fanatically. One day, JD's dad, Joe Gibbs, the head coach of the Washington Redskins, came to the dorm to take his son out for lunch. Joe told JD he could ask a friend to come to lunch with them if he wanted. Most young men would naturally think of their best buddy to invite. Others might think of a girl they wanted to impress, but not JD. He made his decision quickly. After more conversation in his dorm room, JD and Joe strolled out into the dorm hall to make their way down to the parking lot. The annoying guy was standing in the hall talking to his RA with his back to JD and Joe. JD tapped him on the shoulder. When the young man turned around, he stood face to face with his hero, Coach Joe Gibbs, owner of 3 Super Bowl victory rings, including the last Super Bowl in which the Redskins had just beat the Buffalo Bills 37-24. JD asked, "Do you want to have lunch with me and my dad?" For a minute, the young man didn't even speak, but the excitement on his face said 150% yes. He finally whispered right out loud, "Yes." And after a few seconds of silence, the young man began to pelt Joe Sr. with questions and loud praise. JD chose to show this college dorm mate kindness without hidden motives. He wasn't trying to impress anyone. He wouldn't even earn any status points for taking him to lunch. JD just knew that this lunch would make this guy extremely happy. And after that lunch, the two became friends. Even though J.D. Gibbs died at an early age of 49, his short life displayed consistent love for God and others. He put others above himself, no matter if he had enjoyed their company or not. Romans 12:10 says, "Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves." Need some adventure in your life? Honor others above yourselves and watch the adventure unfold.
As we just heard, JD was a man of character and integrity, and it made me reflect on my own character. I'm Joe Hamrick, and I'm glad to be with you today. Character, what is it? It's a set of moral and ethical qualities that define how we think, feel, and behave, especially in relation to others. And I remember someone telling me as a teenager, character is who you are when no one is looking. In a sense, it's your spiritual autograph, the signature of who you are and what you stand for. JD died early at 49, but he spent that short life pursuing humility, compassion, and kindness towards others. Does that remind you of somebody else? Yeah, Jesus. He is our consistent model for righteous living and good character. And I believe the deeper we delve into the life of Jesus and the more we strive to imitate his behavior, the better person we will become. JD was a Christian early in his life, and he modeled the life of Jesus. I mean, the story of the annoying friend at college is a perfect example of him acting like Jesus would if he was in his shoes. But building character is a process. It doesn't come quickly. It's making small life changes every day to become a replica of Jesus. Read the Gospels often and watch Jesus in action. See how he deals with people and his relationships and the love he exudes to his disciples and all those he meets. But you need to be patient with yourself. All it takes is a little change and a little progress every day. One practical example from my life. Early in my life, when I had a full-time job and 4 kids under 15 with school activities and many things to do, I realized I had no time for Bible reading and prayer. So I decided that I would get up 1 hour earlier to spend time with the Lord when it was quiet and there were no distractions. That one little change is all it took to make a huge impact in my life, and it led to a lifelong habit of mornings spent with the Lord. And it's been found scientifically that most people are visual learners. They learn not by what they are told to do, but by seeing examples in life. And that is what makes 365 Men so incredibly edifying and insightful. Each day throughout the year, we hear a story of one man, and we see the character change that occurs in that person's life due to various different circumstances. And then it's followed up with a challenge on how to be more like Jesus. This is truly the body of Christ learning from each other, iron sharpening iron. So my challenge is pretty simple. Continue what you're doing right now, making 365 Men part of your day, listening to the stories, and then taking the challenges to heart. Then day by day, I think we can all become more like Jesus. May you have a blessed day.